Hello, and welcome back to Smart Martial Arts, the YouTube channel where we go over everything martial arts. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I think the best affordable knife for self-defense is. And I say affordable because there are a lot of knives made specifically to say self-defense. But those knives are very expensive. The knife I'm going to be going over is not as expensive. And I will talk about what those knives that I'm talking about, the ones that I know, and have seen videos about, are as I get to the points that I want to talk about. The knife that I'll be talking about in this video is the SOG Gambit, which at first glance, this is the back of my hand, and this is how big it is. Without the sheath, it is that big. Now my first reason why I think this is the best knife for self-defense is what it comes with, what the holster is. There's two knives from SOG that I own, this one and then the SOG Instinct, which are very similar in not design, but in how they carry themselves, literally, I guess. Because you have the sheath here, which is just a waistband or belt clip for both, and then it's kind of hard to see, I'll try to bring this up here, but on both of them, the clip just unscrews and it goes to the other side, which I think is super helpful, which is why I like this knife. I'm going to go into that. This knife, this is the way I got it, is I carry it on my right side, and then it's just good to go. And then the blade is behind me. But with this one, when I bought it, I realized like maybe I could do this as a self-defense knife, but also double it as an everyday carry because SOG knives are also very good. I carried this one for like 2 or 3 months straight, never ran into a problem with it at all, and I love this knife still. But this knife, back to this one, is bigger than this one, obviously. Just knives alone, you get this much. So when I got this one I think a few days ago, I was expecting it to be about this big, maybe a little bit bigger because I know it had the ring on it. But it wasn't, it was much bigger, and I was like, okay, at first I didn't like it, but then I started to carry it and started to think about it in a certain way, and now I kind of like it. But back to the sheath. The reason I like the sheath is because it's plastic, it's thin, and it's not very heavy. The knife weighs more than the sheath, which I guess makes sense as this is metal, but it weighs nothing. Like, this is very comfortable. You don't feel this unless, of course, you're going to carry it weird and have to come on the inside, but if you don't, you never feel it's there. I mean, you feel the weight of it, but you never feel the actual anything. Nothing digs into you. Everything that's going to be on your skin is very smooth, now you don't feel it. All right, quick wardrobe change, because I'm going to be talking about the carry clip in a second. So the reason why I bring up the other knives, or I guess I will be bringing up, the first one I'll talk about is the Scallywag D2. It's the dagger they have. And I would assume, I've never seen one in comparison to this, but I assume it's probably about the same length as this. And the reason I bring that one up is because on the end of it, they have a big-ass ring. Bigger than this, it's longer, it's kind of egg-shaped a little bit. But that, to me, would be because at some point you can just grab something, you can pull your finger through, you can do whatever. At some point, that big-ass hole, and just a big thing in general, makes it easier to grab if shit hits the fan. And then once you grab it, obviously it's fixed blade, so you just pull it out and then you're ready to go. It's also super thin, and as a dagger, it's not sharp on the edge, but it's pointy, so you have the thrusting. So that's why daggers are kind of strange, because I wouldn't carry a dagger like everyday carry because I can't cut things with it as easy as a knife like this one or the Instinct. But the next one that I'm going to talk about is the MDV Plus, which it looks very different than any of this. I'll put a picture of it wherever, I think I'll put it up here, and you can see that it has like the spine here, and then it has the clip, or not the clip, but like a hook, and then the blade. That one is, I would assume, like kind of like a belt carry, where you're ready to go, and then you obviously stab, you can cut and do all that stuff with. But the hook is what kind of makes it easier there, because now all you have to do is you basically just pull it and then you're good to go. So that's why that one is good. And then the next one is the Core Defender, which also, I'll put here, it's smaller, and it also has the big ass ring there. I think it's bigger than this one, I would assume. I don't actually know how big that knife is. But the two of them, which are labeled as self-defense, have the big ring, and this one does too, and that's a big thing. The next thing is just for like an everyday carry purpose, it's very thin. I don't know how thin, but thin enough. They're both about the same. So I can carry this all day on me, which I have been doing basically for the past few days, assuming of course I can carry wherever I am. But I don't feel it is bigger than that one, so I feel it a little bit. But after I'm wearing it for a little bit, it's longer cold, I don't feel it, I barely even know it's there. A big ass knife is kind of hard, one, to conceal if you are in like a warm environment where you don't have a sweatshirt or anything like that, or you wear kind of tight t-shirts, kind of like this one. Or the other problem that I've noticed with this one is that whenever I do this, my shirt or whatever will get hung on the other side. But that only happens if I'm wearing like a kind of like a more my size t-shirt, which I typically don't anyway. But with the actual knife, the blade isn't that big, which is fine. But the actual handle is fucking massive, which I didn't like at first. But it kind of gives you some forgiveness, and it gives you a lot of ways to hold it in case you don't like whatever, because there's the ring, which of course you can do the karambit style, which is probably how I would draw it, which I'll talk about in a second. And then you have 1 finger bump, 2, 3, and then 4. So this is very comfortable. You can do this, and then it's very hard to grab, of course, because one end is the blade, the other one is this, and then have to reach around and not get cut. But of course, you have the normal karambit style where you put a finger through, and then you have the other karambit style where you put your pinky finger through, which I have never really worked with a whole lot, so I'm not too comfortable with doing it. But that's why I like it, because those are the reasons why I like it that way. When it comes to actually drawing it, I have the blade facing forward, because when I carry it, I'm going to put this on, whenever I draw it, I'm going to grab it probably like this or like this. Either way, when I come up, the blade is to my opponent. Where if it was behind me, let's say, I'd have to take it out and then do something different. Or take it out. In this case, with this one, I would bring it out this way, so it is there. But maybe I don't have the option to grab whatever. But no matter which way I grab it this way, it's there. The blade is there, I can carry it, and then it's closed. I don't have to reach too far back, it's just right there, and then I'm out, and then I can carry it this way. I will tell on myself though, I've never actually trained using a knife during sparring. I've always loved to, especially with the karambit now that I carry this. But kind of a karambit style, I don't know that many tricks to it, but again, you're not gonna do like, let's go bro, let's fight. You wanna duke it out, you're probably not gonna do that. But that's the carrying thing. The only problem that I have with it is I guess the detent, if you will, because on a folder, the detent is how long, or I guess the amount of like force you need before it opens up. Some are super hard, some are nothing at all. Some are super stiff, but when you break it, they fling out. This one, the detent is the sheath pull, I guess, is another way to put it. This one is much harder, so whenever I try to take it out, I can almost 70% of the time, if I went to pull the knife out, I would pull the clip with it. I'd pull the sheath with it. This one though, the detent is not that strong really at all. Where if I pull here, nothing. Which for self-defense purposes is fantastic, because if I need this, and I need it now, I don't want to have to pull it out and then, oh shit, my sheath is still there, and have to do that. I want to be able to rely on it and be like, okay, I have my knife. I know where it is. I know I'm not going to have to unfuck with it. I'm just going to have it there. But for just like an everyday carry purpose, the main problem is when I take it off. I've almost cut myself doing it, but I kind of just pinch it, the sheath, and I do that. But I think that's it. So the SOG Gambit, I'll leave a link to this one, and then the Instinct in the description below. This one is $35, and I think that one is also about $35. I don't remember what that one cost. But this one was $35, I got it for $25 because it was on sale over the weekend. But this knife, if you are a knife fan, or you want to have kind of a basic new knife, or maybe you want to start carrying a knife, whether it be self-defense or everyday carry, these two I would recommend. If you aren't a fan of fixed blade, then obviously you're not going to buy these, but I would still recommend having them, because a fixed blade can be very convenient. for things, I don't know, I don't really care either way, but these are super nice, and I feel that they actually could do something, and they are very sturdy. This one and the other one obviously is full tang, so the metal of the blade goes the entire way through, and then obviously where the blade is, it gets thinner. And then the grip is very good. Where it says SOG is even kind of gripped, but the other sides, it's very, very good. This is not going to go anywhere, especially have the finger thing in there as well. So that's why I think the SOG Gambit is the best affordable knife for self-defense, and I would highly recommend that if you either like knives or are a self-defense guy, I would highly recommend at least getting one and using it. Other than that, I think I've said all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you disagree with what I say and you want me to look at another knife, please let me know in the comments below. If you agree, please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you and have a good one.